I'm Jackie Jing in New Orleans in the Voodoo Shop featured in the film Now You See Me. Do not miss my exclusive interviews with the cast and learn about all the magic and mystery.
Whatever this grand trick is really going to amaze.
Yeah,
Welcome
you were
back.
my first interview.
I can't believe of ever.
Ever. Like,
wow.
well, it was, Avengers was my first junket, and I interviewed Joss, and he was absolutely like a sweetie pie.
Yes,
and I was
so
like, I remember
sweet.
at the end of it, I was like, oh my gosh, is it done? Is it over? I did it. And he was like, yeah, you did great. And then I had to, you guys were my first after interview.
Was it me?
It was you and Scarlett.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was fun.
And you probably wouldn't even remember it, but you guys were talking about eyebrow acting and making like faces at each other, and I was like, oh my god, they're so friendly, nice. But anyways, you're my first junket interview, so
Well,
round
welcome
2
back.
now, right?
Here we go, yeah.
So who's cooler, magicians or FBI agents?
Probably the magicians. I mean, although I had a TA on this movie, that my technical advisor, who was very cool. They're cool in different ways.
Okay, so you think they're both equally cool?
In different ways.
How so?
Well,
First rule of magic, always be the smartest
the magician illusionists are they're entertainers like me, and then the FBI guys are more serious and they deal with criminals, and their world's a lot more intense and serious, and so they're both interesting to me in different ways.
Okay, and then Woody Harrelson hypnotized you? Did I read that somewhere?
Let me just say this, because it's embarrassing. So I just want to say I fell under the spell of Woody Harrelson.
Can you explain?
Woody Harrelson became a mentalist on this movie, and he's a method kind of actor, and so he went out and learned how to hypnotize people, and I'm very impressionable, and he's very magnetic, and he's very convincing, and that's all I want to say about it.
So what happened? Did you go
I can
under?
neither confirm or deny that story.
So he's just very charming?
He's incredibly charming, and he's very suggestive, and he's got a lot of he's very charismatic, and he could lead you to things that you're surprised.
So big Woody Harrelson fan here.
Huge, love him.
I read in an article recently that you said magicians don't get laid.
I did.
Yeah.
It's not true.
So they do get laid.
I think they do.
They do. Why?
Well, when I have seen these guys at parties, they usually have probably 10 or 12 women standing around them, and they definitely play the tricks to them. And I was thinking maybe probably some of the bigger, more Las Vegas, when I said that in the other interview.
I think the stereotype of magicians are like these, like these nerds who like didn't have friends and they needed something to like prove to other people that they had, something interesting about them. But you look at magicians now, and I think it's represented in this movie, it's like, I think there's a new wave of magicians who don't dress up in silly costumes when they're performing, and they're actually like normal people and maybe incorporate comedy into their acts. So, I don't know. I mean, I know some magicians who are cool, good-looking dudes who I'm sure go out and get a bunch of girls.
What would they do to pick up a girl?
Here's the interesting thing, because I do know magicians who they literally have a deck of cards on them at all time, which I understand is part of your job, and like you're practicing stuff when you're going out to the bars or whatever. But I do wonder though if like, let's say like a good-looking magician came up to you and pulled out a deck of cards and was like wowing you with some sleight of hand stuff. Is it lame though that he still has a deck of cards on him and that he's like trying to get you with his magic?
I don't know. I guess I would be impressed.
Okay.
But he'd have to do something like really romantic, like pull out like roses or like, I don't know, stars would start falling from the sky. The cards, I'd be like,
if
cool.
he did that though, wouldn't you assume though he's done this a million times to girls?
Yeah,
right?
yeah. You'd be like, you're a player.
Right.
You're a player.
There's no happy
magician.
medium. It's just like full on dork or just kind of sleaze, right?
Okay, so it's one extreme or the other.
Right.
So one guy's getting super laid, and the other guy is like playing with his cards and he's a huge nerd.
But the guy who's getting super laid, it's like those aren't lasting relationships. He's using that rose trick on everyone.
Yeah, he doesn't know what true commitment is.
Mark was right. magicians aren't getting laid.
So I wanted to see from a girl's perspective. Do you think that you would totally hit it off with a magician, or are they kind of nerdy?
You know what? I've never been single and married, but I do. My friend is David Blaine, and he's obviously now in a relationship and isn't like that. But when he was single, he really was having a good time. So I think that Mark Ruffalo is incorrect. Magicians can and do. Doesn't David Copperfield have a litany of ladies too? I feel like all those magicians do very well.
When I was talking to Dave, we thought that they're either sleazy players who are like getting all these women, or they're like the nerdiest guy ever, right? So
the
one
nerdiest.
extreme or the other.
Yeah, you're right. There's no middle ground, is there?
So Mark said magicians don't get laid. Do you agree with that statement or no?
Maybe that was Mark's experience, but no, I mean, these guys who are really great magicians would practice all day, every day, and they carry a deck of cards around in their hand at all times, so that maybe would preclude something like that. But like these guys who are so impressive, who are doing these tiny tricks, have actually been practicing since they're 5 years old, the same kind of flick of the wrist every day for 8 hours.
Well, your guy kind of seemed like a player a little bit, right?
Yeah, like my character kind of uses magic in the first part of the movie to like, yeah, I guess like impress women, and he is pretty successful if you trust the first part of the movie. But then once he gets like kind of recruited to this group, he becomes like obsessed with his work and has no social experience outside of like the 4 horsemen. Would you ever use magic tricks to pick up a girl? No, I'm not really good enough at magic, so I probably, yeah. I mean, like, I would do magic to people, like, on the set, and then just immediately, out of guilt, reveal how I did it. So I'm probably not a really mysterious magician.
Out of guilt? Why?
Oh, because, you know, when you're doing magic, you're tricking people, and I didn't want them to feel left out of the thing. So I would tell them, but then after you tell them, they kind of get disappointed because they wanted it to be a mystery, because that's what's exciting about life.
I'm going to flip through this deck, and I want you to see one card, and not this one. That's too obvious. Pay close attention. That was too fast. I'll do it again. Are you ready? Mm-hmm. Okay. Did you see one?
Yes.
Do you have one in mind?
Yes.
Now, do you see your card here?
No.
That's because you're looking too closely. And what have I been telling you all night? The closer you look, the less you see.
Were you into magic before this movie started, or was this something you became a fan of, like, once you became involved?
Yeah, once I started doing the movie and started learning magic, I became really interested in it. Like, kind of whenever you start acting in something, you become really immersed for the period of time that you're working on it. And so I wanted to kind of find out who my character would be like, you know, what magician he would be similar to. So I watched like a lot of like David Blaine, who's a street magician, like my character, but David Blaine's kind of very casual and my character's very flashy, and so I watched like David Copperfield and took a little bit from him. He's very kind of flashy, traditional magician. And so I became really interested in it, and then we went to Las Vegas where we shot some of the movie, and we got to watch like Penn and Teller, who are like kind of more postmodern, sarcastic magicians, and it was kind of like a really interesting experience to get to immerse yourself in this world that you would otherwise, you know, never be exposed to.
I brought a quarter. Do you think that you could do anything?
Yeah, sure.
Is that too small, though?
I'll do it later.
Okay, you'll do it later?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then I brought cards, too.
Sure. Nice.
Oh my gosh, okay. You won't do it?
I will.
When? Not on
After
camera?
the interview.
That doesn't help me.
It will.
But no, but I wanted to. Will you show me how to do it?
Sure.
Can I try to do it?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do I need to do?
Here, you'll have to get this back, though.
Okay.
Thanks.
And then I do this?
Yeah. Let's see. A quarter is too small.
It
That's
is too small?
Yeah, you should have brought a half. Do you have a $50?
I don't have a $50.
Do you have a regular dollar?
I don't have a regular dollar.
No,
Would you take my regular dollar if I gave it to you?
I would. Yeah, so, yeah, what you would do is, yeah, you could actually, like, yeah, flip, you know, this through, you know, your fingers, but a quarter is too small unless you can produce a tiny hand. You would need a $50.
So I just completely failed at that.
Yeah.
I am the next great magician, and I will give $100 to anyone who can tell me how this trick is done. Thank you. Pass that around.
What's this?
Well, what are you doing, man?
Look at this. Looks like we got a spoon and a stem.
I got other tricks.
Or you can give me my $100. You said you would.
Nice wallet.
You have a very good eye, sir.
Thanks. Wallet. My wallet. My watch.
I also read recently that you like kind of cut Mark up during your fights, and then you recently really hurt Zac Efron, right? So what's your deal?
Oh, Bully, look at me. I'm taking everyone out. No, so the fight with Mark, the fight sequence, there's a moment where I'm throwing cards at him, and there's a close up. Some of the card throwing throughout the movie is CGI'd, like when I throw a card out into the crowd and it cuts a pencil in half. Obviously I can't do that, but there's a close up on Mark's face during the fight when you see cards going off his face, and that was me off camera, literally throwing cards at his face. And I mean, here, I'll show you how weirdly good I got at throwing cards. And
Okay.
Look at me trying to pick you up right now by doing magic. Yeah. So.
Oh my gosh! Were you trying to hit Mark? Oh my gosh! That is good aim.
So imagine, I mean, obviously that was my room key, so it's a little heavier than a playing card, but I can still throw a playing card pretty hard, and if that's hitting you in the face, it's not feeling good. So after about 10 takes of me throwing cards at Mark's face, he's like, all right, you guys, I think we got it. Yeah.
So he's like, we're done, no more of that.
Yeah.
I also thought this was really cool. So you're not on Twitter, but your mom's on Twitter?
Yes, that's correct. And I think my grandma has a Twitter account. Yeah, I just have them tweeting out all my raunchy videos for me. Yeah.
Oh my. So why don't you like Twitter? I feel like everybody's doing it.
I don't know. I mean, to be honest, it does scare me a little bit. Like, I would feel like I would have to like always keep up and like keep posting things that are always funny, and it's just like it makes me anxious. Like I remember even when AIM first started, and I would be like chatting with one person, and then like another window would pop up, and I'd be like, oh shit, and then another one, and then another one, and I would be like, all right, this is too much for me. I'm just gonna sign off, because like I don't know, when I'm talking with someone, it's just like I need to be invested in that one thing. I can't multitask like that. And with Twitter, it's just like a whole new universe. Yeah.
So is your mom and grandma good at it though?
I think my mom's really good. Like my friends tell me they know more about my mom than I do because they follow her on Twitter, and they'll just like call me and they'll be like, so your mom went to got apples from the grocery store today. I don't know, but she's cooler than that. She doesn't tweet about her apples from the grocery store, but my friends do know more about my mom than me because of her Twitter account.
Okay, very cool. Thanks so much. You're hilarious.
Cool.
Okay, Los Angeles, when that timer hits 0, a tank full of piranhas will fall from above. A lady has to have handcuffs. Drop it like it's hot. Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you.
I'm Jackie.
Hi, Jackie. Love your dress.
Oh, thanks.
And affiliation form, please.
Jackie Jang, Denver, Colorado. Feet hurting?
He gets the best deal. This guy has to look at me all day, and he gets to look at like the cutest girls.
Oh, stop.
Oh, you guys should get a swatch at Swip at lunch.
Did you just say he has the bad job because he gets to look at you all day?
Yeah, he doesn't want to look at me. He wants to see in that camera.
Okay, you're the cute girl here.
No,
I think.
you are the cute girl.
And I'm loving like
My barefoot look.
Barefoot look.
I know.
Your feet hurting? Is the heels?
No, it's just I don't know. I should put them back on. I know.
Is it just more releasing? You
It
feel more
is.
comfortable?
It is. I'm just trying to, I don't know, relax.
Relax, have fun. You
Yeah.
seem like someone who always is having fun. I read recently that you said that you're kind of like a fraidy cat, which after seeing you in this role, I'm like, you seem absolutely fearless.
I know. Well, it's this character. I'm hiding behind a very, a very courageous person in this movie. But no, I am a bit of a fraidy cat, and that's part of the attraction of this film for me, was to get up on stage and do all these big stunts, and it's always fun to set yourself a challenge.
I read that you almost drowned during that. Is that true at all? Or?
Yeah, I was chained underwater, and then on the third day, even though the chains were magnetic and I could break free, the chain between my ankle and my wrists was solid, and it got stuck underneath a slat, and I was panicking a little bit.
Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine. What did they do?
They don't notice because my character's panicking, so they thought I was just acting. Yeah, but I kept it together, and then I just sort of swam to the bottom and like released myself and then swam up.
What are you thinking after?
Well, luckily I knew that I only had like 20 more minutes or an hour in the tank, so I thought I'm not gonna make a big deal about it.
Okay, that's cool. So I just saw Great Gatsby too. I thought you were fabulous in it. I love Myrtle,
you.
and I just
love
thought you killed it, girl.
Oh,
I
thank
mean,
you.
how was it to play such an iconic role? I mean, that is just a huge role to take on, and I thought you nailed it, really.
You know what? I had an idea of how I wanted to play Myrtle, and then I got on set and I saw how colorful the rooms were and how big the costumes were, and I thought, oh, I got to take it up a notch now because I really wanted her, because it's such a small part. I really needed her to make a mark and for us to be invested emotionally in her, so that when she's killed, you know, we feel all the more sympathetically towards her, and then Gatsby's plight.
I absolutely loved it, and obviously loved you in Wedding Crashers. I'm sure like everybody tells you that. When people tell you that, do you get annoyed, or you're like, God, I hate that role?
No, I love it. I love it. I loved Wedding Crashers. I loved the experience, and I'm completely grateful to that, because up until that point, I could not get a job to save my life. I was auditioning for things, and you know, I feel like I got fired by my old agency. They said she's never going to get any work, and so I'd really hit like a crossroads. I was in my mid-20s, and I thought, honestly, if I don't get something soon, I'm going to have to think about another career path. So I love anyone mentioning Wedding Crashers. It was such a fun experience.
How did you channel that character? Like, what did you pull from? What were you thinking? Like, what did you do?
I just thought about, I guess I was thinking about Glenn Close from Basic Instinct, and then putting a comedic slant on it. Like, how would Glenn Close react if she were in a comedy? And so then I just went from there.
Come in closer, because the more you think you see, the easier it'll be to fool you.